Welcome to the Sanity Project podcast, where you can awaken your mind to clarity and success even in today's life challenges. We're here to provide insights and solutions that will help you live a sane, healthy, and prosperous life. Here's your host, Joanne Victoria.
Hello, everybody. This is Joanne Victoria with another amazing episode of the Sanity Project podcast. You are here to discover a life of clarity, confidence, sanity, and entrepreneurial success. Our guest today is an amazing woman named Janice Sutherland, and she has written a book called This Woman Can, the No Bullshit Guide for Women Who Lead. Janice Sutherland is founder and CEO of the award-winning leadership and personal development consultancy, This Woman Can, the platform for professional women to network and elevate their careers. She now lives in the Caribbean and has made history when she became the first female CEO in the Telecoms Sector in Antigua and Barbuda. So let us talk to the author of This Woman Can, because This Woman Can. Welcome to the show, Janice Sutherland.
Thank you, Joanne. I'm delighted to be part of the show. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here because I really want to get your book and your work out there. So you talk about how women need confidence to see how they get in their own way. I think it's lack of confidence that they have, right, by getting in their own way?
Yes, definitely.
And they need to find more confidence. How do they do that?
I think it's not such about finding more confidence, because I think we all have a level of confidence. It's that we don't believe we have it, because we all have the ability to do things or to challenge ourselves, but we have to believe that we can do it. And I think it's more about self-belief that impacts our ability to go after something that we want.
Problem for women, isn't it?
Definitely, absolutely, so many times. But if they sometimes just took a step back and think about all those times they told themselves they couldn't do something and then surprised themselves by doing it, just take that little extra step to think back, then you have that belief that, look, I can do something that I didn't think I could.
Right. I think that also women tend to want to do alone, and they're hesitant in asking for help. And I think, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's, I don't know if it's our ego as much as it's just the fear of being wrong, the fear of thinking that we need to have outside help, that makes us less than.
Yeah. I mean, I always tell women that we have a tendency to suffer with what I call me, myself, and I syndrome, in the fact that we believe nobody else could be going through what we've gone through, what we're experiencing, what we're about to do, what we've done. And invariably, if you're in a room full of women and you tap a woman next to you on the shoulder, say, "Look, I'm experiencing this. I'm not sure how to deal with it," that woman will say to you, "Well, I remember when." And so we walk around thinking that we're all alone in this. And one of the reasons I wrote This Woman Can was because I wanted women to know that you're not alone and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. But because we're so hesitant with those three little letters, ASK, we've been taught we have to battle it out. We have to get through this. And speaking as a Black woman, we often have the strong Black woman narrative so that we can take it all on. So asking for support and asking for help is often taken as a sign of weakness, where I absolutely see as a sign of the most ultimate strength.
I agree with you. I think it implies that you're strong if you're willing to reach out and ask for support.
Yes.
Yet I think that men have a different way about things. They talk over, a beer in the bar or watching a football game or whatever, and women don't do that. They don't, they might complain about something, but they're not saying, "Hey, I've got this business deal going and I don't know what to do." Anybody got any suggestions on who I should talk to?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's just a question. And, you know, but I know that some women would say, oh, God, I can't ask that question because somebody in the room is going to say, oh, I thought she knew everything.
I had a very interesting conversation with someone quite recently, and I asked them what part of networking played, networking with women played in her career. And she said it hadn't. You know, and I thought about that, and I'm thinking, wow, is that because you didn't want to network with women, or is that because the women weren't forthcoming? And I think quite often, again, there's a societal narrative that there's only room at the top for one woman. So we spend so much time protecting, you know, I'm saying that in air quotes, protecting that hallowed ground, that space, that level we've got to, that we feel we can't share or ask or network with others. And I think that's a totally wrong approach to have. I've got a great network of women that I can tap into when I need some support and help and guidance.
Yeah, we need that. We need that as a group. I mean, we are strong in the sense that there are quite a few of us. And, you know, there is that numbers game where, you know, the more of us there are, the more talent we have to share.
Yeah.
And yet we will do it if we're being paid for it in front of the room. We won't do it with our close friends or associates.
It's definitely a challenge. Definitely a challenge.
So talk to the audience and myself about your book, This Woman Can, the No Bullshit Guide for Women Who Lead.
Oh, this woman can. Well, first of all, I never thought I could write a book. That was probably the first thought. If someone had said to me, oh, right, well, someone had said to me, and then my then coach, right, you need to write a book. And I was like, oh, I can't write a book. What am I going to write about? And she's write about what you know, what happens. And what I did know was about some of the challenges I had faced as being a woman in climbing the corporate ladder, being a woman working in a predominantly male-dominated arena, and just some of the challenges I suppose I'd overcome in my own life as being at one point a single parent. So how to create boundaries for not just for the work, because we often talk about boundaries at work, but I think boundaries expand a lot further. You can be boundaries with family, you can be boundaries with children, you can be boundaries with your partner. So how do you navigate those boundaries and create that space for yourself? How do you deal with the challenges of that when you do become a leader, and maybe some of those people you are now leading were your colleagues? You know, are you going to change? Do you have to be different? How do you negotiate for higher salaries, or for your worth? Not even higher salary, just for your worth. So the book was all about just sharing some of the experiences I've had and also my clients have faced. And I've written in such a way that you can just pick it up and read one chapter that's pertaining to the particular challenge you're facing at that time. Nobody has the time. Well, I certainly, at the time when I was writing this, I didn't have the time to sit just to read long tomes. There was, like, you know, I think at the time, Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg was very big. You know, there was Tara Moy Playing Big. I didn't have time to read all that to find the answer to the challenge I was facing. So I created it in such a way, wrote it in such a way that you have the challenge, you can relate to the challenge that these women are talking about, because, you know, I take real life scenarios, and I also give you some questions at the end of each challenge to say, okay, if you're facing this problem, these are the questions you need to be asking yourself to self-coach yourself to try and come up with some solutions. So I thoroughly enjoyed the book, and it's been I've had so many women come back to me and say, I really resonated with that one chapter. I don't need you to love the book from cover to cover. I just need you to find the one chapter that helps you in the situation you're facing at that particular time.
It's great that you were able to write the book as a guide.
Yes.
As opposed to a tome. You know, a heavy, 400-page doorstop, rather than something that people can use, especially women, because this is aimed towards women.
Yes. And the reason it was the No Bullshit Guide, as I said, I was also reading those books at the time that I mentioned, and I'm like, how am I going to, let me get to the crux of the matter. Stop creating words for a situation that I'm in. Tell me like it is. No holds barred. Just give me plain speaking, because I'm a plain speaking woman. I need to get straight to the point. So that's why I was the no bullshit guy, because let me get straight to the point. This is the issue, the challenge. These are the questions to ask yourself to get a solution. That's it. Job done.
I agree with you. That's my modus operandi as well. It's like this. Don't give me all the drama or all the story, because that's irrelevant. What do you want? And what are you willing to do to get it?
Yes.
And, if you're not afraid of hard work, because whatever we do requires hard work.
Yeah.
We have to work. It's not just a matter of sitting down. The idea that you can just wait and something will come in front of you. Well, there's many sides to that story, or that action, that activity, because to a certain extent things will come to you, but if you're not clear about what you want, you won't recognize it.
Yeah, and sometimes the things that come to you aren't always the things you want. And to be perfectly honest, I'd rather be more in control of my future and my destiny than wait for something to happen. I always called it holding out waiting. Are you waiting for how? Are you holding out waiting? Waiting for what? Don't wait for it to happen. Make it happen is often a motto I live by.
Yeah, there's something niggling in my brain. There was, I think, a book years ago called Waiting Is, and that was it. You could fill in the blank on what the author was trying to say, but it's usually a waste of time. If you have time to waste, if you want to wait for something, go read a book. But you don't want to wait for your goal, your vision to come forward to you when you're not clear about what it is you truly want.
Definitely.
And then whatever it is you think you want, bounce it off your group.
Yes. Your group, coach, someone you trust, someone's going to challenge you, someone's going to call you on your BS when you say you can't do something. Talk to somebody. Write it, even start by just writing it down. If you don't feel confident, talk to somebody straight away.
Yes, as I say to the audience every time, I hope I've done this every time, re-listen to any of my podcasts, especially this one with Janice Sutherland and her book, No Bullshit. I'm just going to write it down to that. No bullshit. No BS. Any book, ladies, just get on with it. You can. This woman can. The No Bullshit Guide for women who lead. All women are leaders in one way or another, even if it's just for their family.
Yes.
And I think that women, anyway, listeners, re-listen to this, have a pen and paper and take notes, because you're getting a masterclass right here with Janice Sutherland. So how do women overcome their self-imposed limits? Beyond talking to their friends, buddies, cohorts, networking pals, how do they overcome these self-imposed limits? What can they do to, you can tell them, okay, you've created this self-imposed limit. What are you going to do about it? And they go, I don't know.
Yeah. And it's often a situation when I'm working with women myself. And I always take them a step back, because sometimes I want them to think about almost take them through a series of steps of how did you get there? What is it you're not happy about right now? What is it you see in your future? What's your vision? So we can start shaping out what it is you want for yourself, and then think about what's blocking you. Quite often, as we said, as a coach, and I'm sure you know, Joanne, working coaching or, coaching or working with coach yourself, we all have the answer within us. We just haven't been asked the right question, or we're avoiding the question. And it's when we're honest with ourselves about the questions we need to be asking, is when we start taking the steps to overcoming the lack of confidence. So we have to start being honest with ourselves about what's in our way. And I appreciate sometimes it may be something that's happened to us in the past or whatever, but again, whatever's happened to you in the past can only control you by the level of control you give it. Because if it's past, it's done. It's done. You can't go back. You can't change that. What are you going to do differently going forward?
So I'm looking at, you live in the middle of the ocean. Right?
Yes. On a rock.
And not on a rock. On a rock? Will you live in Barbuda, Antigua?
I live in Antigua, but we affectionately call it the Rock because we're only 108 square miles.
Oh, okay. So where do your clients come from? People want to know.
It's the power of the internet. My clients are all over the world. As you can probably tell by my accent, I'm English, so I'm English born, but I've lived in the Caribbean for the past 10 years. And I always knew when I decided to move out of corporate that my clients wouldn't be Antigua. There's not enough at the level of women not enough of the women at the level that I want to work with. So I work with women virtually and definitely globally. So they come from all over the world. I'm working with women in the UK right now, in Austria, in Canada, the US. So yes, the only drawback sometimes can be the time difference.
Yes, but that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, even if we're dealing with, our time right now, you would be the East Coast of the United States.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, because I think these things just fascinate the heck out of me. Okay, simple things like time. Okay, so you want to help women create a plan to start living their lives on their own terms.
Yes.
What's the first step?
The first step is contacting me. That's the first step. Usually what I'll have a chat with you, no holes, but a non-obligation chat, just to find out where you are right now in life. And invariably what I'm finding right now is that I'm working with a lot of women midlife, which is great, who have come to the realization or start thinking, I've had this great career, I've got this far in my career, but is this it? What next? Where do I go next? What does that look like? Am I going to stay in corporate? And if so, what does that look like? Do I want to continue doing this? Which is what I'm seeing right now since we're going for the pandemic. Women are now questioning, is this what I want to do for the rest of my life? And if it's not, what do I do? So we start having a conversation about where you are right now. What have you done or what have you done already? Where is it you think you like to go? Invariably, they don't always know where they want to go. So our process is we work together for a minimum of 3 months, and we work through a process that unblocks the things that have been holding you back, because we all have things that are holding us back. No matter how confident we think we are, we can always go one step further. And we start creating a plan for a vision, and then a plan to help you get there for what you want out of your next career chapter.
For those who are listening, Janice Sutherland and I are quite aligned in our approach with helping people as far as the vision and the goals and what you want the outcomes to be. So give us a minute or two about diaspora women, how you work with them on your This Woman Can podcast.
Yeah, on the podcast, I'm chatting to those women about their leadership and their leadership journeys. And I was quite deliberate with that, with the diaspora women, because definitely when I was on my own career journey, I didn't see women that looked like me. I was very often not just the only woman in the room, but the only black person in the room, especially working in the UK. So, and we all, I know the phrase is out now that representation matters. I didn't have it back then. I'm that old. Sorry, people. I'm that old. But right now, I want to show other women that whatever you thought wasn't possible, for whatever reason, it is possible. And I go back to say, when I talked about not reinventing the wheel, hear the journeys of the women that have done it already. And if you can take away just one little piece of information that resonates with us, says, okay, yeah, I can do that, or I can try that, then that's all it needs. That's all that needs to happen. So I speak with women from all across the Caribbean, and in the US and the UK who have a Caribbean connection about their career journeys. And sometimes now, I've started incorporating now those women who have transitioned their careers or pivoted their careers to ask them some of the challenges they overcame in doing that process as well.
So for everybody who's listening, Janice Sutherland's book, This Woman Can, The No BS Guide for Women Who Lead, is available on Amazon. Is it also available on your website, Janice?
It's easy from Amazon because it's difficult to post from here. We're just getting postal services back, but it is on Kindle as well for the people who want electronic copies.
Yeah, I find Kindle to be a real easy way to get through books. Forced to with the pandemic and all the libraries.
Yes.
Here, so.
Yeah, I'm old school. I like the book. I like turning the page. I like turning the pages.
I love my books. I would usually have next to my bed about a dozen books, mostly fiction, because that's what keeps me sane.
Yes.
And then when the library's closed, for those who are listening, yes, the library's closed here in the United States, certainly where I live, for over a year, and really not having much access. So I had to adjust. Again, I'm a big proponent of adjusting your point of view and moving off of your position. And I had to move off my position. Got a Kindle. First I was on a regular Kindle Fire. Then I went to a Kindle Paperwhite. And I will tell you, it's like saving my life. I can just download anything I want. And but I like the paper, but I can't have it now. It just gets all, but read the book. So you can buy, as we're just discussing, This Woman Can, The No Bullshit Guide for Women Who Lead, on Amazon in hard copy or Kindle format. So
yes.
How can people get in touch with you, Janice?
Well, it's very easy. They can either listen to the podcast, This Woman Can, on any main podcast platform. They can visit my website, janicesutherland.com, or they can connect with me on LinkedIn. I am Janice Sutherland. So I keep it very, very simple.
Very, very simple. Okay, I think we've covered. Is there any last words that you want to say to the women out there?
I think the last words to say is that if you are thinking you can't do it, actually you can. So, and that's why I say this woman can, because if I can, you can, this woman can. We all have it in us to achieve what we want to achieve.
I want to thank Janice Sutherland for being here today, because I really like her perspective and the way she helps people, and the fact that her book is a guide, not a tome, not something hitting you over the head. And Janice Sutherland has been around enough to know how to help women get what they want out of life. Thank you for being here today, Janice Sutherland. It's been great, and I really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joanne. Thank you. Great to be with you.
Good. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Sanity Project podcast. Please go to AskJoanneVictoria.com to listen to more podcasts. Check out Joanne's coaching programs and get a free copy of her report, 5 Steps to Achieve Life-Work Harmony. That's AskJoanneVictoria.com. Take care, and thanks for being here.